Let's get to you. You are a mechanic.
A mechanic, yep.
And you are leveling fast, duoing your content.
Yes,
And
that's
you would
correct.
like to be able to solo Sevel. Okay. And then party Lotus and Damien. And eventually Lucid and Will.
Did I write that? I guess that's on the
Yeah,
on
well,
the way.
yeah, like you said, eventually the 250 and stuff, and then
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
that's what that ends up. Hopefully, that ends up happening with that, right?
Yes, that's the goal.
Okay. Good. And how are you enjoying your general rate of progression now? Because it seems like you're wondering like how can I make it so that my gear can keep up with my leveling? So you're still leveling at a decent pace.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm kind of just brute forcing through the levels. I'm not killing anything efficiently. I just play a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And it definitely feels like I should be a little bit stronger. My summons can't kill anything, and
Mm-hmm.
for like a mobbing class, it just feels pretty bad to mob.
Mm-hmm. But you're still leveling, so.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So, but it could be faster with higher efficiency on better gear. That'll make your summons more efficient.
I hope so. Yeah.
Yep. Your summons don't do critical hits, right?
That's a good question. I actually have no clue. I have a weird damage skin on, so I actually can't really tell.
I see. Well, it does mean that you need to focus more on other stats. This stat window is from after the rise skill. Sorry, not the rise skill. The pixel skill.
Yeah, after it was gone.
Yeah.
Or, no, this was in between while I have a. Yeah,
Oh,
there's no pixel.
Party
pixel buff here.
100 pixelated box blocking screen.
Oh, true. Hang on a minute. Yep. Thanks, guys. Yes. Okay. You're 13.8. Have you looked at the progression screen? Have you like already seen like?
Yeah, I feel like I generally fall into like the beginning of late game, but it really doesn't feel that way.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's just because my class is gimped or maybe I'm doing something wrong. I'm not sure.
Well, a little bit. You're predominantly mobbing and supportive. You have great potential for damage, but that really comes when you are getting all of the possible sources of damage in the game. And of course, it's all scaled around being in non-reboot, so things like extra bonus potential and a bunch of other stuff and extra ways of upgrading will end up giving you a lot more damage. Like you can see people in KMS like bursting down Hard Lucid Part 3 as a mechanic, for example, just because you have so many hits. But because you have so many hits, the scaling is crazy as well. Or the potential for scaling, I should say. And you could just keep upgrading, and you never really cap. And for that reason, your damage your damage output keeps going up. Which is a good thing if you're going to be, upgrading forever. But it's kind of a bad thing early on when you're not really like built super strong yet. And if you have less sources of damage like we do in Reboot, it's going to take you longer to really get to that critical mass where you can start really have a big impact.
Right, okay.
And, well, the question is even if a mechanic can ever get to that point. You'll just have to get way stronger and be like more funded than a lot of people on average to be able to solo the same content. But you can be a valuable supportive character. Who have you been duoing with? Like what class?
It's a Cadena.
Okay. And they're more selfish with their party buffs, right?
I'm not even sure if they have any.
Yeah, I don't think they have any either. That's, but you have the tower, you have the teleport, and I think you have some debuffs
Yes,
as
that's
well. Yeah.
That's on the heal bot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that gives you final damage and the potential for survival, of course, on the teleporter can be nice.
And a little bit of IED.
Oh, you do? Do you? Is that what the heal bot does? Does it lower the IED on the
Yeah,
boss? Oh yeah.
It lowers defense by 10%. I'm actually not sure how that's applied into IED calculations. If it's applied like a normal source or.
Yeah, so that basically means it's an extra source of 10% that applies if you hit the monster that is hit by the debuff.
Okay.
But yeah, for like late game, end game, one line of 10% is very little. The final damage you do that you give with your tower is like the main thing. Okay. So you feel like your gear is. So how are we doing with making money and everything? How's that going?
I don't have like an exclusive meso farmer. I used to have a meso up line on my inner ability, and I have one ring that has meso rates up, but the rates are really quite miserable because I really can't kill anything that fast.
Mm-hmm.
So I have about 2 bill a week from Ursus, Maple Tour, and a little bit of grinding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do. And you do some bosses, right? So you sell those crystals.
Yeah, I max out my crystals as well.
Okay. Oh, you max them out. Okay. And it gets you about 2 bill per week.
Around, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So when you're training, like, how much money do you make when you like train for an hour? It's like around 100 mil or something.
Yeah, it's 100 mil an hour.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And we're 230, so you're probably. Let me skim through things real quick, but you're probably at. If I had to make a guess. Event rings, boss set, Sweetwater, some CRA. Yeah. Let's say the gear is there. We have to see how far they're upgraded. Probably what I'll focus on is to see how, to which extent we can kind of work with what we already have, kind of optimize that, and then see how. Because have you been like practicing Lotus and Damien or seen boss fights and?
I mean, I've seen a few YouTube videos. That's about the extent of my experience with them.
Okay. And have you completed the pre-quests?
Yes.
Yeah. For some of these fights, I would advise to just like go in and get like absolutely rolled, to get a feel of what you need to do to be able to survive in the boss fight.
Okay.
Because it's already scary, right? Because it's like CRA is like the first time you actually start like bossing, and then Lotus and Damien are definitely like another big step from there. And once you get enough experience with CRA, and C-Val becomes easier and easier, and you can kind of you notice that after a while you kind of start seeing the patterns in the attacks, right? You just
Right.
It's not like you're reacting to what they're doing. You're just like waiting for them to do it because you know it's coming, and that gives you way more of an edge to survive everything. And the same thing will be true for Lotus and Damien. I did Lotus earlier in the VOD, so maybe you can check that one. I also have like Lotus videos in my channel, at least from the hero and from the marksman perspective for Lotus and Damien on my YouTube channel. Some things you just have to experience yourself, just being in there. Like for Damien and for Lotus, the first thing I would do is just to focus on 100% on just surviving, just staying alive in the boss fight as long as possible. And then once you get better at that, then you can start hitting as well. So for Lotus, in the beginning, you have the robots flying around. You want to kill those as soon as they get anywhere near you. Like if you see them, or for you actually it might be cooler, you can put some summons down maybe once you get to the side. And then they can deal with the robots, because they do all sorts of things. One slows you, one inverts you, one seals you, one stuns you. It's very annoying when you're trying to dodge the laser. So The sooner you can get rid of those, the better for everyone in the run involved, basically.
Okay.
For Damien, it's just you have to get used to the hitboxes of the skills. Sometimes he'll be facing the left, but actually hit the right. Sometimes his attack will be done, and his new attack will start, and you approach him, and you still get knocked back by the previous hitbox. Like it's a little, it's a little wonky. If you manage to survive solo in Damien, you'll do way better in a party because you've probably seen it with the Damien mechanic. You have the brand stacks, right?
Yeah.
And then if you reach 7, then you get the extra sword and everything. So if you can manage to survive solo and get your cleanses off and all of that stuff, and without getting extra swords, then you'll do even way better in a duo or in a trio run, whatever, because the stacks will get, you know, only one person can get a stack. So the amount of stacks that you build will be way slower, and then you'll actually have more breathing room if you go in a party.
Okay.
So yeah, the main advice for Lotus is you don't have anything that allows you to dash through the lasers, right? You would have to use a little teleporter thing.
I don't know. I do have a rush skill, but I'm not sure if that goes through.
No, that'll probably get you hit. So at least for a little bit longer, when you enter Lotus, you'll have to like use an iframe immediately because it's possible that the laser spawns on you. So you just start by, and wait, your iframe is also like the biggest damage you have, right?
It is. It's both my burst and my iframe.
Yeah. So I guess you just go in, you fully buff outside right before you go in because you're gonna pop it immediately anyway. And then regardless of which way the laser is spinning, you move like I would always move into the direction of where the laser is coming from. So that you have the maximum open distance behind the laser. You basically want to just maximize being able to stay in the middle of the fight where the rocket is, because then that way you're the furthest away from all the robots getting to you, and you have more time to just deal damage without the robots getting annoying. And then I guess you put the teleporter on the side, and then you slowly move in between the lasers to the middle of the fight. And then once the lasers are pushing you to have to go up, I guess then you put the other teleporter and then you teleport back to the first one, and then you just keep that way you can stay on the bottom. And you don't have to because there's like you've seen the boss fight, right? There's like teleporters on top, and then they teleport you down diagonally to the other side, and you have to climb the rope and everything.
Yeah.
Most deaths happen is when you're trying to climb the rope or go up, and then a robot spawns, knocks you down into the laser, or seals you or inverts you, and then you start climbing the other way, and then you walk back into the laser, stuff like that. Or delay on teleportation, or you teleport a little bit too fast into the laser, or too late and you get hit by the laser already. Like that's where most of the deaths happen. So if you can plant some of your robots around the map to get rid of the little robots, and you can make sure that your teleporter allows you to stay on the bottom of the map, it should be more of like a, as long as you can keep dodging the lasers. In the beginning, I would just focus on the little guys and focus on just surviving the laser, maybe even surviving the fast laser. Sometimes it speeds up. The annoying thing, though, I think is a little sad, is if you do practice mode, you're not able to go into like the second phase or the third phase. Sadly, that's a little bit annoying.
Oh,
like,
really? Okay.
Yeah, like you have to go. You just practice the whole boss fight, so you have to get through the phase 1 before you can ever practice phase 2. So it might take a few attempts, but I think you'll feel way more confident in knowing what you have to do and knowing how you have to stay alive. Like even if your damage isn't like I'm bursting this guy down, but at least not dying all the time will also feel really good already. And then, of course, if you're not dying, you can commit way more of your damage than if you're focusing too much on survivability. So getting that out of the way, I think, is very valuable. For Damien, main advice is whenever the sword is going to land on you, it'll show up like a crosshair on your character. That's also something you'll get like a feel for about like how long it roughly takes before the sword is going to land on you. If the sword is below you and it targets you, then it'll have to like readjust and first go up in the air and then dive down on you. Typically when it's very low, it won't immediately like dive down into the ground. It has to be higher than you first, and then it'll dive down on your location. So it'll give you a little bit of time to reposition yourself, and what you want to try to do is always go into the corner of the map, and then make sure that the sword dives into the corner, and then after it dives and you see the red area and the fire around it, then you move out of the corner. That way you make sure that the sword has minimal surface area that it's covering where it can damage you, and it'll have minimal chance of overlapping with the cleanse, because the cleanse always spawns somewhere in the middle of the map, never like in the exact corner. That way you can give yourself more chance of cleansing your stacks. And I guess the main advice, especially in the beginning, if you have 2 or 3 stacks and you can cleanse, just go for it. Because let's say the next time the sword ends up landing like super fast and you're not able to put it in a corner and it overlaps with the fire, then you can't cleanse. Let's say the time after that you get knocked away, or Damien does an attack right on the cleanse and you have to run away from the cleanse, otherwise you die, for example. Maybe the next time you can cleanse, but the sword interrupts you. Boom, you're at 7 stacks and you get an extra sword, right? There's a few of these things that can happen in a row, and then you get hit by an extra skill, you get an extra brand stack as well, not just the overtime ones. So to give yourself some breathing room, if you can cleanse and you have 2 or 3 stacks, I would say always go for it, especially in the beginning. And then as you get more experience, you can take more risk. You'll learn how to dodge all these skills more, and then you'll be able to focus also more on what animation is he doing, where is he standing. Sometimes what will happen, for example, is you'll put a sword down somewhere, and then he'll dash, and then you got to be really careful. You got to get behind him, because sometimes if you stay too close, the dash punches you into the fire, and then you're like stunned for a little bit. You get some hit stun after the punch, and then you just kind of just block from doing anything. You just die. So sometimes avoiding doing all damage and just going for the survivability first is more important. One extra tip there: if you end up at 6 stacks and you're about to die, what you can do, or you're about to get like the 7th one to get the extra sword, what you can do is suicide and stay dead and wait until a cleanse pops, and then res and walk to the cleanse, and then you'll be able to cleanse and stay invulnerable because of your resistance link skill.
Right.
And that way you can make it so that you can get rid of all the stacks without the extra sword. And you die anyway, right? When you get to 7 stacks, you die and the sword spawns. So death is already sure there, but you can choose between death and a sword or death and no sword. So then you just, you seppuku yourself a little bit earlier, and then you cleanse the stacks on a tower, or on an altar, or whatever it's called. Those are like my main advice for Lotus and Damien.
Yeah, I haven't started practicing, so I guess I should do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they'll just make you feel way more confident about the boss fight itself, even if because, yeah, like I said, if you're already uncertain about your damage, but your focus is like 80% or 90% on surviving, and very low focus on your damage, then the little damage that you can do is already going to be less efficient, because you're trying to position yourself all the time. But if you get more used to that, you can spend more time on focusing more of your damage, and then once we work on the damage and on the gear and everything, then you'll be able to commit more of that damage by not having to worry about 2 things at once.
Right, okay.
Alright, so when it comes to the basics with your gear and everything, how up to speed are you with things like transfer hammering, transposing, invulnerability stuff, IED, flames?
Transposing I'm not as familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else seems fine. I know my my WSC is pretty bad right now, but I was pretty focused on getting larger sources of IED for CVAL.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's like heavily gimping my damage, but
okay.
Yeah.
Because you're moving it up here. Oh, Legion setup looks good. Amount of Legion coins looks very good.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you at Are you still working on the Legion? Are you at like 4K now, or is it?
Yeah, I'm over 4K now.
Okay.
My goal is 6K eventually, but it's not a big priority.
So how did you move the pieces? Did you move the buff duration, or?
Sorry.
So
the pieces.
Yeah, so you have the extra, the extra square available, right?
I don't actually have the 450 coins available.
Oh, okay.
rank up my Legion, so I still have to wait a few days.
Yeah, it can be pretty expensive early on. When Legion first came out, there was 50% discount on all the tier ups for like the first 2 months or something, and that's when I went pretty hard on my Legion, so I could get those knock up those. Nice. Yeah. So I could knock out those rank ups earlier. Yeah, that's definitely a benefit. Okay, so oh wow, so you have 5 boost nodes to boost all your stuff basically?
Yeah, that's I tried everything to get my damage up, so.
Mm-hmm. Okay, seeing if you're missing anything super important, but I don't think so. You don't really need something like rope lift because you have your own up. Oh, you have your own up jump, right?
It's pretty slow.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, that's true.
If I had an extra slot, I would probably use rope lift.
Yeah, and then after that, decent sharp eyes probably.
I have that on my gloves right now.
Good.
Obviously, it's not permanent, but.
Yeah, that's permanent, but yeah, that's always decent to have in between. Oh, you have one here, yeah. And then holy symbol when you're doing other stuff. Oh yeah, you have the resistance phalanx, right? That you like dash through the. You like make it move back and forth through the boss and everything.
I don't know what that is.
Isn't it called phalanx or something? The resistance skill.
It's like a summon that just.
Oh no, that's the Cygnus
shoots
one.
a lot of lines.
Oh yeah, yeah, this is different. Yeah. Have you looked into like the min-maxing of your nodes? Because I'm seeing some.
There's a lot of overlap.
Yeah, there's a lot of overlap. Yeah.
But it's most of the skills for mechanic are pretty bad, and it's pretty difficult to get the right trinos, honestly.
Yeah, that's the thing that some classes have to deal with more than some others. What are they saying here? Homing missile, massive fire, splash F, iron B, and distortion bomb.
Yeah, my homing missiles should be level 60 right now, and
yeah, because you're dividing them over multiple boost nodes to get the
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, to get the effects. Yeah.
My AP salvo, I think it's what it's called now, is well 53, but my distortion bomb is really, really low.
And this says magnetic field and Robo Factory RM1 as possible second try nodes.
Yeah, I think those are more useful while grinding.
Yeah, while mobbing probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Because then you just put them somewhere and then they kill that part of the map and you don't have to worry about moving over there and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you specifically look for these trios already?
I whenever I can, I do craft at least one of the trios I want, and hope I get the right combination, but I still haven't seen it. So.
Okay. Yeah, because you're pretty high level. That level 15 one starts with the homing missiles, right?
Yes.
Is that homing missile, Robo Factory, RM1, and then what is the third one? Is that massive fire?
It's AP salvo. It's Sprindar's massive fire. It's the same skill.
Like massive fire, splash F, iron B. Is that the? I don't know this.
That's no longer the name of the skill. It's heavy and AP salvo plus.
Ah, okay. Heavy salvo AP plus. Okay. Yeah, rename that. Okay. And a distortion bomb. That's the blue thing on the middle boost node, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, all these skill names. Because that's like a summon you put for a while that stays like for a few seconds, right? And then just does damage over time.
Yeah, it's a low like floating AOE, I guess.
Yeah. That would also be nice for like Lotus to put down on one side, and that'll just take care of the robots, at least 1 or 2 spawns. Okay. Oh, your skill node's already pretty high. Pretty 14. Yeah, I'm wondering if like cleaning up the boost nodes and focusing more on those. I mean, if you're already crafting, you're crafting, but so as you condense more your boost nodes and make sure that you have at most 4 boost nodes that have everything in them, you just clean up more room to have more skill nodes available, and then those will help your total damage always go up, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so
You're saying I should focus on the skill nodes?
on the boost nodes to make sure that that you find those trinodes that you need. Because then you'll free up slots.
I feel like Doomsday Device is like most of my damage actually. So that's why I focused on that one, just so I can have better uptime on it.
That's like a summon that floats behind you, right?
That's right, yeah.
And then
it like crushes every other source of damage I have, to be honest.
And what is does the uptime change?
It does. The cooldown doesn't change, but the uptime goes up by 2 seconds every time.
Oh, that's really important then, yeah. Oh, it only shows up to level 25 here for some reason. Oh wow, it lasts like 6 more seconds or something.
That seems like an outdated description.
Yeah, that's
the cooldown is 200 seconds now, and duration is half as long.
Why is that one so outdated?
I believe it got changed. I think it used to have 100% uptime, and that was a little too strong for
Fortnite.
For AFK farming, I guess.
Oh, I see. Oh, I guess I can find the details here. What the? Oh, Gordon. Why does this music file do this? Okay. Yeah. I mean, it'll be 1 extra slot. You're getting a lot of extra final damage now because your shit is not maxed. Yeah, if the Doomsday Device uptime goes up a lot, then that's important to level up, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, you're already working on cleaning up the boost nodes, right? So you're making, I guess that's why that one's level 15, because you keep making homing missile ones to find a trinode, but then you end up with this instead.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, I guess since you're already this level and you can equip a lot of nodes, I guess it's not super necessary to min-max too much if you already have 3 of the skills that would be in the top 5 anyway. I guess it's more important to get your magnetic field on a second boost node, right?
Yeah, if possible. Yeah.
So something that starts with oh, sorry, your distortion bomb, I mean. So, but you have one that starts with distortion bomb. What is this skill here? The level 11 boost node. What is that one on the left side?
That's AP cell. It's like the hurricane skill that turns into a single target skill when in tank mode.
Ah, okay. So that's what's shown here as like massive fire splash, whatever.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yep.
That's that one. Okay. Wait, do you have multiple rocket boosters, like missile boosters?
Yes, there's quite a few in there. Yeah, as far as I see, there's the 4 nodes have it. That's how I got it up to level 60 right now.
But it has like a number 2 in the bottom right. Is there also one with like number 1 or?
No, not that I know of.
Okay. So because the downside is the more you spread your the more you spread yourself thin over multiple boost nodes, if you end up getting rid of those boost nodes, the amount of shards you get back is very low. So you don't want to wait too long until like committing to trinodes. I guess you have the luxury here that since you are going for a total of 2 sets of trios, so 4 nodes in total, and there's two spots open, right? So
Yes.
that does mean that those 2 can be pretty much any node without really hurting you, I think. So that does give you like many more options, and many more, like 2 out of 3 nodes could become your eventual nodes. And the longer you level up the ones you already have, the more you limit yourself to being able to, because then it will hurt you way more if you disassemble them, and you'll be more forced to actually use those as boost nodes for your other nodes.
I get what you mean.
Yeah. So I think having... Yeah, so that one on the top right is like fine. So I wouldn't like make more missile nodes, but focus more on making other ones if you have shards instead, to see if you can make others that complete the set together. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, okay. So they have 60. Yeah, like the Robo Launcher, Tots and Bots, like they don't... Are those new names for this? Is that Robo Factory RM1? Is that what that is?
I think it's a new name, yeah. A magnetic field is Rock and Shock.
Rock and Shock.
And that one, yeah, that's the one that you lay down that has the lightning.
Yep. Bots and Tots is like the little thing that just summons a bot. Rock and Shock is like the 3-point with the lasers in between. And then Robot Launcher is just like one turret, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay. So what they're saying to boost is that one, that one, that one. Okay. So I guess you would pick the Robot Launcher then as the 6th one, probably. That would make the most sense, right?
Yeah, I wanted that one above level 40 so it could hit 1 more target.
Uh-huh.
And that one can actually 2-shot most mobs I train at. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's level 46 now, so it's probably packing quite a punch. Okay. And the mobile missile battery, that's something you just place down and does damage for a while?
No, it's just a very large AoE attack that does more damage to single targets.
Oh.
It shoots an increasing number of missiles.
Oh, okay.
Right now it shoots 33, and it can hit all one target if there's only one.
Mm-hmm. And if you're mobbing, it just like floats around and hits multiple targets?
Yeah, it doesn't float around. It's not really a summon. It's just a one.
Yeah, I mean
thing.
the rockets float around. I mean, like fires a bunch of missiles and then.
No, it's a little bit different than the homing beacons.
Oh, okay. What does this look like? Oh, damn. Okay. Looks interesting. All right. Lynx and Legion. Do you have any questions specifically for that? Or do you kind of know what to do?
I kind of know what to do. I'm not sure if my Lynx setup is optimal.
Yeah, it looks
Seems fine. I think the Hayato one needs to be replaced eventually, but I'm not sure exactly by what yet.
Yeah, I think the Bravado isn't very good because it only gives you like extra damage to monsters that are full HP. So it'll look really good and it'll look like it gives you a lot of percentage damage for your range and everything, but it won't actually end up adding that much damage. If you're mobbing and one-shotting with it, then it's fine. But then if you're mobbing with this setup, then you don't want Light Wash and Fury Unleashed there either, right? You want, or Terms and Condition, you want those to be like your 3 mobbing skills instead. Your experience skills instead, like the Aaron, the Evan, the Mercedes. So if you're going in the bossing setup here, yeah, you probably want to replace the Keen Edge with something. Yeah, and Bravado. I don't think Bravado like it can have use for mobbing, but I think for bossing, just the 10% IED I don't think is enough to equip it. I think you're better off with more damage.
Okay, I was struggling for IED sources, so I thought to put that in. So.
Yeah, if you're still in the beginning, like still struggling for the IED, it can give you a little bit, but it's only a 10% line, right?
Right.
Yeah, so that you're already 93.56. So that's your functional with the boost nodes?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I guess because of missing the reinforced Golix, right? That's a lot more harder to get now.
Yep.
Are you? Have you tried hard looks?
Not even close to killing it.
Not even close. Okay. So that's one of the things on the list to work towards. Because yeah, once you can start getting the reinforced gear, that's going to be a big source there, right? 15% boss, 30% ID on the 4 set. That's gonna do a lot for you.
That.
Yep. Still rolling the Chaos Ring, I see.
Yes.
Hopefully you can get some nice weapon attack on there.
It hasn't looked too good so far.
Mesoptine. Extra ring. Cup. How's your how are your flame scores in general? Like, where are you hovering around?
I tried to improve them with the rainbow flames from the pixel shop, but I think most of my gear ended up worse than they were before. So it definitely still needs work.
Mm-hmm. They tend to do that. Oh, the Mechanator flame is nice. It's nice. Sweetwater. Yeah, Sweetwater weapon is always... It's kind of the one you want. Are you going for the Absolab relay weapon for this one?
I'm not sure. I believe I should be able to get my Fafnir weapon tonight. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure if the temporary Absolab is better than if I invested in my Fafnir weapon. But...
Probably not, because the potential is locked. It's like a high star and you can flame it, it's high base stats and that's all nice, but the fact that you can roll any percentage attack on your potential is so painful. If you have, if you're soon to have access to Fafnir, then I wouldn't put the Fake Solab on this guy.
Okay.
I think that's a good call there. How many set boss accessory are you rolling?
I'm doing 7 if I need the IED, otherwise I'm rolling 5 with the Sweetwater accessories instead.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, there's some strength here. Yeah, all this stuff kind of makes sense. I guess the flame on the glove could be quite a bit better.
Yeah, I wasn't sure when exactly I would be upgrading them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Abzo Glove is the next one. Glove is like an awkward equip because there's a huge gap between like a Necro Glove with like 20 stat or an Abzo Glove, right? There's a huge chasm there. But yeah, I think there's about 8 or 9 different gloves that are all kind of fighting over that same slot that can be similar, but it kind of depends on how good their flames are.
Yeah.
There's 140. Yeah, I guess I wouldn't Star Force it too much further, but you could definitely get a better flame on it. Because you have like 30 score now, so definitely aim for something like 60 or like around 50 to 60 at least. Since you have decent sharp eyes here, like there's a lot of potential damage on your gloves for getting critical damage there. That will increase your damage a lot. I would consider doing that with the red cubes, and then moving into Sharp Eyes instead as you move one of your boost nodes away, as you, as you consolidate your nodes' skills.
Okay.
I think that's the way to go for you. If you can get critical damage and a line of stat, that would be nice, but probably just critical damage is probably already good enough, because you don't want to over-invest. Your emblem has the 40 IED. Oh, that's going to be a rough one, because you definitely want that IED. But not having any attack with it hurts you a lot. You have 18% dex, which is something, but attack is just so much better. Gives you so much.
Yeah, that's one thing I wasn't so sure about. It feels like I'm really struggling for IED. I don't even know where to put all those sources, because I can't afford to roll for both IED and attack, unless I get very lucky. But.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty expensive, but it's also going to be, among all the things you can do, the most valuable thing.
Okay.
Oh, one thing, reminded, because we're talking about IED now, you also have the Explorer Mage Link skill, right?
No, I'm still working on that. That's the plan for this burning event.
Okay, good. Yeah, if you have that one, then you can replace Elementalism with that.
Okay.
Because you're like losing 1% damage basically, but you're gaining 9% IED, so that'll help you there. Someone's to IED. You don't want one line. Yeah. Fuck yeah. You need attack on the emblem. That's gonna give you so much damage. And then your weapon is gonna come with the same boss damage and IED that your current weapon has, but you'll have an extra 30 boss because of the set bonus.
Yeah, I put aside some funds to work on the weapon as soon as I get it. So.
Yep, that'll be important. Do you know how to work on the flame for your weapon? You know what you're aiming for there?
I didn't check because I don't know what the basis for crafting weapon. I actually didn't check that. But
yeah.
I know how to find that info, I guess.
Oh yeah, okay. I can check real quick because I have all the have enough pieces, so I can just check. Where is the gun? Somewhere on the bottom, probably. Fafnir Zeliska. It's 125 base attack. Okay. Well, that doesn't do much. Sorry, probably looking for... Like 40 probably?
40? Okay.
Yeah, 40. 40 attack and then hopefully some boss damage.
Okay.
That'll be what you want. You got the Guardian, you got the medal. Yeah, and then the bullet has the line of attack and the line of ID as well. But that your intellect isn't doing anything there. It's gonna be so expensive. Know why you're hesitant to really throw like money at that.
Right.
Yeah, as for the cape, can probably do with a little bit better dex and a little bit better flame on the cape as well. I think you can make some...
Should I be Star Forcing Tyrant?
Maybe. That totally depends on how long you think it's gonna take for you to get to Absolab. Because you can make you can throw a lot of money at a cape before it gets anything nice, but it does get a lot of stat just by getting an extra star, right? Like it's 19 all stat already.
Yeah.
In general, it's not advisable, but it totally depends on how quickly you're progressing. For most people, they get to Absolab so quickly with like blowing through the game. And if you're more like an attacking character, it's like easier. Since you're more of a supportive character, you're gonna have to like wait and see a little bit. One of the main ways that you can make your money worth a lot and make it work for you is if you so if there's let's say the Absolab is still far away, but you do have events where you can benefit from star forcing. What you can do is level up level 150 gear already, star force it up, and then hold on to it until you get the Abso, and then transfer hammer it in. Some equips that's pretty easy.
That's usually the Run Maui gear, is that it?
Yeah, that's usually that's the gear that you can use. There's some other gear as well that is easy to do, like the root gloves and the root shoes that you can buy from the shop. So the root gloves you can buy from the Magnus shop, and the root shoes you can buy from the Root Abyss shop.
Okay.
And because they are repurchasable and just you can buy them in the shop, you don't have to like hold them in your inventory and clog your inventory. Because if you're keeping like a bunch of backups for a bunch of different items, then you can end up filling up your inventory pretty quickly.
Okay.
But yeah, one of the main jumps is going to have to be that you get to 17 stars on a lot of your stuff. We have a 10+1. Because I think if I look at everything, I think like your star forcing is probably like a little bit below average. Your potential is also a little bit below average, and the flame's also a little bit below average. So they all need to get a little bit stronger, and then if you work a little bit on all of them, you'll end up probably where you want to be, which is a little bit annoying. It's not like, oh, just dump everything in star force. Like that would be simple, right?
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, gotta have to do a little bit of everything. So the calculator like level 160 from 12 to 15, doing like 30% off. How were you with the backups with the Narrows? You took a screenshot, right?
A backup for what, sir?
For the Narrows, you have 600. Okay, so that's like 2 extra. Because if you don't have the safeguard, you don't want to, because it's so much extra money.
Okay. And this is specifically for Sweetwater, I guess?
Yeah, for their... Because your accessories, for example, right now, once you get those past 15 and you get the extra weapon and magic attack, once you get from 15 to 17, like, that's going to be big.
Okay.
Yeah, like, if... Look at... I don't know if you're looking at the screen right now.
Yep.
So the Star Force expected cost, so if you're going from 12 to 15 on your Star Force stuff, if there's 30% off event, the difference between safeguarding and not safeguarding is, like... It's just double, almost. And there's a chance of 0.2 to boom. So if you have backups, that's something you could risk, right?
Okay.
If there's... we have a 1+1 up to 10 coming. So that is more expensive. By about a third. But it's at least it's cheaper than during the 5, 10, 15. Because if you do it during this event, you can wait until... Because didn't we have a 5, 10, 15 as well? Now I'm confused because I read through all of the stuff. Hang on, let me look at the Sunny Sundays real quick. Oh no, we have a 30% off. We have a 1+1 up to 10 and a 30% off. Okay, so you want to wait until the 30% off. That's going to be your main thing, is saving money for the 30% off. So... First thing is red cubes for your emblem this weekend. And try to get a line of attack and a line of IED. And the rest goes on your weapon.
Okay.
Aiming for percentage attack there, but if you get a line of IED or a line of boss, that's probably also, with attack, that's probably also good enough to keep for now. If you get any kind of combination of those three, that would probably be good. Even though... It feels kind of shitty because you're not committing to anything. Since you're still building up your stuff, having a little bit of everything gives you more freedom, and the other things that you have more outcomes that could potentially be good for you, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of ideal things that you'd want to change, but if you have cubes left, then I would say the glove and your cape could use some more love since they're already legendary, right? I wouldn't really touch like the top and the hat are like very difficult to get good lines on. So I wouldn't fuck around with those too much. There's way more chance there that you end up throwing a bunch of money at them and you end up with something worse.
Okay.
So I would go in that order of things. Yeah, so for this weekend. And then for Star Forcing, so wait until the 30% off, which is... did I close it again already?
It's in 4 or 5 weeks, I guess.
Yeah, the 12th of July. And then it's going to be major Star Forcing gains for you. So that's when you're going to try to get everything to 15. That isn't 15 yet.
Should I just stop at 15, or should I actually just be for 17 at that point?
Yeah, so all the things that you are planning on getting past 15, those you get to 15. So like not your Machinator Pendant. That will be too much money wasted. And it doesn't have the payoff of getting the 16 and 17 star stats because it can't go past 15. So it would just be wasted money. So you're mainly be looking at your weapon. You could do the I Am a Treasure belt because that'll stick with you for a while. Tattoo, monocle. Probably not the bean mark. The earrings are already there. You could do the shoulder too. It's kind of touch and go on the glove and such. So the question is, to which extent do you want to improve the things you already have now? And to which extent do you maybe want to look for those level 150 items that we talked about and do it on those items so that you have the prep done for when Abzo comes around. Because Abzo is probably still like a month or two out, right? With all the...
I have no gauge of time for that, so...
Yeah. But do you have like the backups for the weeklies? Have you been doing those? Like Scrapyard, Dark World Tree?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's just the clears for the bosses and like the practice for the bosses and then the fine-tuning of the gear first so that you can participate. So you're planning on duoing that with your friend, or do you have like a third or fourth friend, or would you be...
Yeah, I have more than a party of 2, I guess. But
Okay. Yeah, then I'm like hesitant. Definitely the weapon. I'm hesitant for the things like the belt and the well, basically the Sengoku set, like the belt and the shoulder. Kind of hesitant for those because the belt you would want to get into reinforced once you get the hard lux, and the shoulder would want to go into Abzo shoulder pretty quickly because you're probably not prioritizing the weapon since you'll be spending money on the Fafnir weapon first. So it'd probably be a way bigger upgrade to go for the shoulder.
I am almost Meister accessory crafting. I do have some primal essences at the bottom.
Yeah.
Is that something I should consider, or is that too much of a waste of investment?
For the rings, it's kind of unfortunate with the timing because we just had the no boom room where it was like very... That would have been like a no-brainer to... If it was like a week ago, it would be like a no-brainer to say like, yeah, definitely get your like rings to 15 in the no boom room because then you don't have to safeguard at all. You save so much money. Now, I feel like there's so much work still, like so many gains to still make on what you already have. I'm not sure if going for Meister would be like spreading yourself too thin right now.
Okay.
Maybe like upgrading on too many fronts at the same point. It's not like you have a whole sea of rings though. You could definitely use another ring, but even if you get a Meister and you get it to 15 star, it's probably still going to be weaker than your event rings than you have right now.
Right.
So I'm not sure spending that money on that right now would be a good idea. I mean, you say you're close to Meister though. You don't want to waste the materials also that you've already invested in getting up there. Like, when you say you're close, like, are you just at level 11 or like just at Master Craftsman? Or?
Yeah, I'm halfway through 11, so.
Halfway, okay. Well, when you well, you make like 2 bill a week, and how much did you have right now?
I'm sitting on about 2 bill right now.
2 bill right now, okay. So like July 12th, you're gonna spend at least like 2 bill on cubes this weekend. Shoot, it's a month, 4 weeks. It's gonna be like 8. You throw it into the calculator, right? 30% off. No safeguards. Admit if you take this off. Okay, 325. Oh yeah, but you talked about like getting past 15 and everything. I would once we're July 12th, we're pretty close to the end of the first chapter here, of the first half of the update, and I would just wait until we see what's going to happen in the second half, because I'm expecting, I think there's a decent chance that we see a 5, 10, 15 event there. Okay. And then if you see that, that's ideal to go for 17. So you can look, you can do like comparative here if you want to, but like with safeguard, from 15 to 17 on a 160 item would cost you an average of almost 1.5 bill, and if you do it during a 5, 10, 15, it's 643. So it's like way less than half. Yeah, that's definitely worth waiting for.
Okay.
But having everything prepped at 15 and then just sitting on your money will be a good like test of patience as well, to make sure that you make that money work for you when the event comes around. And then at that point you'll get the pendant to 16, weapon to 17, eye and face, all of your CRA. Like that's gonna end up costing you quite a bit.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, getting everything that prepped to 15 is some cost, but 15 to 17, even during an event when it's super cheap, it's still going to cost you quite a bit of money. But that could be, yeah. I'm edging towards getting the level 150 gear for you, and then getting it to 15 star by the July 12th. Okay. So like getting one of the shoes, and then that way you don't have the safeguard as well, right? Because you can just buy backups for those as long as you have the yeah, like you have the. Well, you don't have that many. Are you doing normal Magnus daily?
I am not. I didn't know that the coins were actually used for something. So
yeah, I would do that so that you can have the coins for backup gloves, and also that you can have access to more soul shards from normal Magnus, so that once a Magnificent Soul event comes out, that you can have more chances of Magnificent Magnus.
Is there a known rate for Magnificent Souls?
Yeah, it's 1% chance normally.
Okay, that's brutal. Okay.
Yeah, it's brutal. Yeah, so during a Magnificent, it's 5%, which is still pretty brutal, but
right.
Yeah, a lot better. Yeah, 1 in 100, so 1 in 1,000 shards on average is pretty disgusting.
All right.
Yeah, so that's one. For now, 17 star of the accessories is going to stick with you with a while, so don't think you have to do. I mean, like if you want to do solo voyages and CPQ and everything every now and then, just to keep building that up a little bit. I don't think it's like a top priority daily, so I think you don't have to like put everything aside to get your Commercy dailies done. But every now and then to build up on that a little bit, so you can go into the pendants. And if you, so here's the thing, like for now, definitely getting into 17 star and everything, and you can 30% off without safeguard. There's like a very low chance that you blow anything up. And if you do, it's it's unfortunate, but you do have the backup. And going up to 17, you can just safeguard that. It won't be super expensive. If you ever planning on going like beyond to 18 to 19 to 20, like there's going to be some booms definitely, and you can blow through those Dineros real quick if you're ever planning on that. And then you're going to regret not having done the voyages and the CBQ all along, because then you're going to be blocked. However, on the flip side, if you don't really do them and you get lucky, then all of that time will be saved. So, but yeah, it's a little bit of a cost-benefit analysis there to how likely do you think it is that you're going to be like star forcing past 17. It's typically something you only do after you get all of your Absolab stuff done and get all of that to 17 and get decent flames and at least 2 line stat on everything. So
okay,
that is still pretty far out.
Yeah, it's a long way ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, if we want to prep on July 12th for the level 150 stuff, so Madman Ramaru every day with as much drop rate as you can to try to get some shoulders. Apart from the unless you have the Commercy shoulder.
I don't think I have that one anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Most people get rid of that. It's normal. So any shoulder for Ramaru counts, right? Even if it's for a different class, you can still transfer hammer.
Okay.
Transfer hammer does not discriminate between what class an item is for. Just it has to be like the item type that's appropriate. So if you can get so again, like if you don't have any backups there, you might want to consider safeguarding that. If you have backups, you could consider not safeguarding until you have the last shoulder. And so for the shoe, we get you don't have to buy them yet, but then you can buy on July 12th, you can buy the Root shoe in Root Abyss, and then you can buy the Root glove in the Magnus shop. And so cape-wise, the easiest one, so you could also get capes from Madman, but if you do blow it up and you can transfer the trace because it'll be different types of items, you could also cape the Chaos Sakum cape. That one's level 150.
Okay. I do have one of those, I think.
Yeah. So if you have like 1 or 2 backups or something, that should probably be enough, because the average boom, like we looked at the average boom, right? It's like 0.2 or something, so it shouldn't be that bad at all. And then what else are you missing? We have a glove, keep shoe. Well, then the other next step would be like the weapon, right? But then by that point, you will have killed C-Vel more and more and more, and you can just have backups for another weapon if you want. But once you're like fully committed there, you'll basically just transfer your Fafnir weapon straight into the Abzo, so you can take benefit of the Star Force. But that'll be much later, because you're going to be working on your... this probably isn't going to be for this event yet, right? You're not going to be that far, I think, where you have all the Abzo and all of that stuff.
I doubt it, yeah.
Yeah, I doubt it too. Which is fine, you know, like you gotta... But your levels keep going up, so that's good. That's going to give you access to a lot more AP, a lot more shards, bigger area, so you can do way more dailies. You'll get your arcane power will grow way faster. Definitely don't underestimate that. Like there's like 6k stat, something like that, just like waiting for you just from leveling up your symbols a bit more.
Okay.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how much how much stat you end up actually getting from that. It's pretty crazy. I think my arc is max, so that's like 13. Yeah, 13k stat is just from leveling my symbols. It's pretty broken.
Okay.
I think yeah. You've looked up for your inner-ability. I'm not sure on the mechanic one. Passive skill plus 1. That seems good.
Passive +1 increases the number of missiles in tank form.
And then I would guess that ideal would be like crit rate and then attack or buff duration or something? Oh no, not crit rate. Okay. Attack and boss.
The max cap out on crit pretty easily. So.
Okay, that's good. Because I did see that you have the Phantom Link now.
That's only while I'm mobbing, but...
because you're in a different tank mode, right?
Yeah, exactly. The tank mode has an extra 30 attached to it, but the humanoid doesn't. So.
That's okay. That's where I was like, where is that crit rate coming from? But yeah, every class it's like its own little thing where it's yeah, okay, it makes more sense. Okay, yeah. So I remember that's super in depth on the mechanic specifics. That's okay. It is kind of unfortunate though that some classes are just like mostly ignored by most people. It's a little bit sad. But I guess it's inevitable, right? If there's 46 or something, or however many at the point, yeah, there's a few classes that are just going to fly under the radar, and there's other ones that are just going to be easier to play, more solid kit, and it'll just, yeah, they'll just, people just gravitate to that more. Okay, so that's for mobbing. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. But, okay, so that does mean that if this is your bossing setup, that does mean that you could free up Elementalism for the Explorer Mage. You could free up Phantom Instinct for...
Would the Cadena one do anything? Or?
Yeah, Cadena probably, yeah. Because then you'll have more chance of the Cadena doing something if you have the Explorer Mage one, because the Explorer Mage will also debuff. So
Okay.
that will make the... yeah.
I don't know if you can answer this, but the healing robot applies the IED. Is that considered a debuff? Or?
Everything that shows up as an effect over the monster is considered a debuff.
Okay.
So if it...
yeah.
Yeah. I think the one exception is if a monster is like, if their color changes from like a frost or a slow or something, I think that also counts even if it doesn't show an icon over their head.
Okay.
Because like I've done like Lucid with an Ice Lightning before, and she was like blue and flapping around the whole time. It was really confusing because she's not supposed to look like that. But that also counts as like a status buff as a debuff.
Right.
And then the Keen Edge, yeah. And then the Bravado. So that would free up 3 then that you could move around. So Explorer Mage here, and then the Cadena, and let me see. I guess maybe the Thief.
The Thief one is just a lighter version of the Cadena one. Is that it?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's like it's like one with cooldown, basically. Yeah.
Okay, that's right. Yeah.
You don't need the knockback resistance. You still have one more character for Spirit of Freedom, by the way.
Yes, it's the Battle Mage that I don't really want to play, but I'll get to it eventually.
It's pretty. It's actually pretty strong early. The teleport is very strong. You just dash through the monsters, and the teleport can just kill it. Yeah, you'd be surprised. You have hybrid logic, right? Yeah. And you have the Wild Rage. Yeah. Light Wash. You definitely want to keep that. I guess you would keep Elementalism then.
Okay.
And just split the
Phantom Instinct.
Yeah, so Elementalism, keep Elementalism, Explorer Mage, Cadena, and then Bravado, you move either by the Jet Link if you want to work on. I don't know how good your core aura is.
I haven't invested any money into it. It's I just don't know if it's worth investing into. Yeah, because it seems like it costs a lot of money.
Mine cost about, including locking and everything, but locking it for a year cost about 2 bill, I think. And it gives me, I can see now, but I think it gives me around 30 dex, 30 something strength, and like 34 attack. So it is a significant investment, but it's basically like a juiced up Keen Edge.
Would the Cygnus, the 5 Cygnus Knight one?
Yeah, or the 5 Cygnus Knight. That was what I was thinking about. Either if you already have the 5 Cygnus, you can use that one for now, and then if the core aura ever overpowers it, you would switch it out that way. Yeah, that would be your bossing setup. Yeah.
Okay.
That seems more solid.
Sounds
yeah, and then hopefully you get enough coins for your Legion, so you can build out, and then. I guess the characters in there. With Legion, you said you're pretty on top of it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, what are you Terra burning?
Remaking my Mercedes to 200.
Okay.
To 210, I guess.
Yep. All right, and then with the Mega Burn coupon from doing that, which one are you burning with that?
It's likely going to be one of the Explorer Mages.
Right. Yeah.
5%, I think, levels the slowest.
Yeah. Honestly, I must say getting them to even getting them to 200 was pretty doable with all of them. Like Ice Lightning has like a pretty good kit. The Fire Poison skills, the hitboxes are a bit weird, but they work well with some of the maps, so you might have to shop around a little bit to go to different maps so that it works better there. And Bishop just gets a lot of experience from Holy Symbol. It just makes it go very fast because of that. That's super useful.
Aside from total levels, would there be a reason to bring them up to 200 instead of 140?
No, it's purely for Legion levels. If you're going from 6 to 8K, basically, yeah, it's purely what it's for.
Okay.
The only other thing would be that if you want to like side main or be like somewhat serious with any kind of mage character, that you would get more intellect in your Legion blocks from the Ice Lightning and from the Bishop. Yeah. No, once you get to 120, then you have the 3 boom up to level 6 stacked, and then that link skill is maxed. So that's where most people who don't really like mages will definitely keep those.
Okay.
Well, I guess 140, right? Because then you have the extra size of your Legion block if you put them in Legion. But they'll probably be low priority to put in your Legion. You'll be going for critical rate, critical damage, dex, strength, like those things will all be priority for you. So. Okay. I guess after everything 15, I hope that around there is a DMT, and then it's going to be all about your rings and your other accessories, just getting everything to legendary, 1 line of drop or mezzo plus a line of stat, so that you can start making some big money while you're training.
Okay, so
like all the accessories.
When keeping accessories to, I should be somewhat focusing on getting at least 1 set of mezzo gear / item drop gear.
Yeah, so whether you need item drop is going to be kind of reliant on how familiars are going to come back. If familiars come back and we're able to stack like multiple familiars that have a line of drop rate, and you're able to equip multiple, it might be possible that people who are planning on getting like full arcane, you want to maximize those droplets and those nodes. But if your nodes are already doing a lot better by then, and maybe getting full set droplet is not something you really are aiming for, then maybe focusing on a combination of just damage and mezzo instead, and then once you have the 5 lines of mezzo, just full on damage might be better. The one thing, of course, is if you have some drop rate, that'll help you with boss rewards as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I like making a combination set, and a damage set is usually what I do. Like focus first on mezzo, then rounding it out with drop rate and trying to get 1 line of damage with all the mezzo and with the drop rate that I have. And then after that, once that's all set, then work on a damage set afterwards. So that could include getting like a second tattoo and monocle, for example. Yeah. But that's a while from now.
Okay. Yeah, it's 1 step at a time.
It's long term, yeah. But yeah, I think if you think of prepping the 150, hopefully you can get a shoulder. If you can't get a shoulder, then your Abzo shoulder might be the one item that you start first all the way up to 17 on the shoulder itself. Which maybe by July 12th you'll have enough to buy 1 item, and then you can just prioritize the shoulder there, so you can do the shoulder during 30% off. You'll just have to safeguard it, which you probably would be doing if you got the Sengoku one anyway. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. You don't have a heart, right?
I'm working on the perm heart this event.
Okay. Good. And you could. Ring-wise, do you have synergies?
I do not know.
Okay. They end up being pretty... I mean, as long as you get them on multiple characters, it's pretty free. It's like the same stats as both like the Master Ring SS and the stacked synergy. They're both like stronger than the Reboot Vengeful and the Cosmos. Not by a whole lot, just 10 stat extra, but... Oh yeah, once you get it on more characters as well, all the other characters that you're playing, even if they're just mules, you'll just have like the full ring stats there. It'll be a nice little boost, but yeah, only if you have the time, of course. I think focusing on the nodes and the symbols, probably for this guy is going to be the most important now.
Okay.
There's a good bunch of stuff in the first shop, and if you want to get the special items from the fountain, you could try to cap points on a second character and then throw those coins into the fountain.
Okay, that's what I'm doing right now. So.
Yep. Okay. Good. Good. I'm thinking if you forgot anything. Yeah, IED. I think it's good that you're concerned with the IED because it is something that people tend to overlook, and it is very important. You definitely want to keep like one big line on your emblem, and as you build out your legion, maybe prioritize the IED there, because you know the bigger the chunk, the better, right? Like you already said. Yeah, I wouldn't neglect the legion growth. Definitely take advantage of all the burns, and yeah, slowly level up a character here and there on the side. Like when you're on your main and you feel like it's, you know, you're kind of starting to lose the motivation to train on there. Yeah, just like take your mind off of it and do like a mule character instead. And then slowly, as your legion builds out to 6k and you get the full grid, that's going to really support your main character very well. So.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of try to find the balance there. It's not always easy, but usually if you feel like something is annoying, then that's probably a good time to listen to that feeling and do something else instead. But yeah,
it hasn't happened yet, but yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're feeling like it might happen if you don't really upgrade right now, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's a good point to kind of take a step back, look at all your options, and kind of come up with a game plan, and then take it head on. Yeah, I have good hopes for your weapon. Like if your weapon gets some nice lines, then that'll give you some good energy. Yeah. Like a decent flame will basically overpower this current weapon. Well, not immediately, right, because of the Star Force, right. But the potential will hopefully help you out there. Yeah, man. Okay.
That was very helpful.
Yeah, I think we looked at everything. Oh yeah, and like in between, what I usually give as advice, if you're doing some bossing and whatever, you usually just group up all the flames that you have until they're about to expire, and then look for the item that has the most to gain from reflaming it, and then just just throw them all on until you get something nice. If you get something that's acceptable and you're almost out of flames, then just hold on to that until the next batch of flames is about to expire, and then just start over again that way, so you don't have to feel like you have to settle for like a 12 dex flame or something and that you end up actually downgrading. So you can minimize the risk that way. But I wouldn't invest in like a huge amount of flames at this point. But once we're like 17 stars and stuff, then there's going to be a lot of potential gains from flames on the Abzo stuff. So that could be something to really look into after that.
Okay. Well, that was good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You think we covered everything?
That was more than I expected, so that was very good.
Okay. Well, best of luck.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, and if there's if there's ever anything else, I'll put it on YouTube so you can read it back in case you've missed anything, and or you could just send me a message on Discord if there's anything else.
All right.
All right. See you.
Well, see you.